Hello and welcome to another game programming tutorial. In this tutorial we will going to be creating a cube that will going to rotate around on the same axis in a circular path. So in order to create this tutorial, we have produced on a plane a cube, and I've called it cube 1. Then I've applied material to the plane as well as to the cube. Then I've placed an empty object right in the middle of this plane, and I want this cube to rotate around this particular object in 360 degrees. And then on the cube 1, I have set the following properties: that the cube 1 has been given a name called cube 1, and it is attached to a script called rotate script. And on every frame it will going to go as negative 70 degrees per second. So that's basically the degree displacement of it. Let's have a look at the actual script behind the scenes, so that's going to make it easier for you to understand how we have done this example. So we have created a transform object called center. Now this is a public object. So in the script you can see that this transform object is the one that is tied to the center object, which is the empty object. So we have created a reference point from the script to this center object. Then we have a public variable degrees per second, which is set to negative 70 degrees. This allows me to be able to change this right from the Unity, so I don't have to keep going back behind the scene. This is also a public variable. Then I have a vector 3 that allows me to control my XYZ axis. At the start, I take a difference between where the center object is placed and where the transform object is placed. Who is the transform object? The transform object is my current object. So the difference of the two defines the value for we. Then inside the update method, I will take help from the Quaternion, which is used to represent the rotation. We are using a built-in method of this class called AngleAxis, which takes an angle and it takes a vector. So this basically controls the rotation, but it doesn't do anything by itself, because if you just simply use it without using any vector multiplier, like over here in this statement, as you can see, I've taken the angle axis, in which I've passed the angle of rotation alongside the vector. Without multiplying by a vector, what it returns is not a vector. So we multiply it by a vector so that what it returns is a vector, so that we can assign it to a vector. Otherwise, it's not going to do much. So here, in this example, we have done this basic calculation times the value of vector. Now, as far as the positioning is concerned, you can move your vector in 6 possible choices. You could, right now I'm moving it vector 3 dot down, but you can move it up, forward, back, left, and right. And these are in the comments I've shown you that when you do down, it basically rotates around the y-axis in the counterclockwise. Up, y-axis clockwise. Forward, it goes on z-axis. Back, again z-axis, but back is counter, forward is clockwise. And similarly we have left and right. So after we calculate the new vector position, we simply add that to the center position, and then we give that position to the transform, which is the current object. So when I go back into my Unity and I start running this, you will notice that my cube actually rotates around this center object, and negative 70 degrees is basically the displacement. I could increase it or decrease it if I want this to go faster or slower. So that's pretty much what this tutorial does.